here we go. Okay, we've got a lot of Hades, we got a couple Zeus, and we've got an Uranus, I see. Wait, triple Hades for DoD. I don't know about that, but we'll see. Everything works on paper. In game, that's a different story. But all right, here we go. Game number 2. F2's home map after dropping the first game. Can they respond? Can they rebound on their familiar grounds, Mediterranean? We are on the bottom of the map looking at Heimdall in his favorite purple color, blocking himself with his Oracle. He is Uranus. And then their pocket F2 is player... a real master of Mediterranean is this guy. He's going to be tough to beat. He's played Medit many times and won on Medit many times. His ally up in the top in green is Gold Lion, who really I think has had a pretty good season. Not been super active as far as 1v1s, but playing really good team games. And so far this team on Mediterranean has been almost, and it literally actually has been unstoppable. Their opponents to try to put a stop to the unstoppable is Brickhead. He's Hades in yellow, and Scotty Hades in teal. He is the middle. He is recently back from a couple week hiatus, so good to have him back and feeling better, I do believe. And then Joe is also Hades, as I said, triple Hades from DoD. And Uranus, Zeus. So 5 Greek, 1 Uranus. So as the triple Hades here, what is their plan? I mean, you get access to Pestilence as opposed to Ceasefire. So do they do like a triple Pestilence or maybe a double Pestilence, 1 Restoration? Because I gotta think that you're going Zeus or going Hades to win the water. And it's even more valuable to win the water because we have town centers in range of the water. So we're going to have 6 town centers in water range. So that does make water very important. As we get into the late game. Oh, this guy's on the wrong side of the forest here. So, triple Pestilence. I mean, you could do it, but you almost need a restoration anyway for 1 fight. So maybe we're going to see 2 Pestilence, 1 restoration? I'm not sure. I mean, you could kind of make the argument either way. I mean, restoration, you can't go wrong with restoration on a Medit. I mean, it's so huge, especially if you can end up getting a 3-man fight and you use resto on 3 sets of boats. That's huge. I would think both F2. Well, you know what? They might have a ceasefire in case of the triple Pestilence. Just so they don't fall behind. Now, Pestilence is very good on Atlantean, because it's hard to spread out your docks because you got these fat, slow villagers that are out of shape. So, you know, if you want to spread your docks out, you got to slowly get all the way over here and then slowly march over here. You'd probably be able to get 2 anyway. So you could go like double Pestilence on the Uranus here, and then follow it up once you get the first big fight with a restoration. And then the one thing that Hades does give you is the super strong buildings, which helps defend. I mean, the town centers get an extra 700 hit points and 2.4 pierce damage as well. So, okay, restoration, triple resto. Why wouldn't you just go Zeus then? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't really see the value of all Hades over Zeus in that situation if you're just going to go resto. Unless they got something magical. But generally, if you, as many strengths that you can vary, you try to do that so that, you know, you get your Hades with the stronger buildings, stronger archers, but then it's nice to have a Zeus with that incredible siege power with the late game hoplites, where you can underworld and all of a sudden have huge siege running in. So it's interesting that they would do that, but we're getting all of our age ups. Player went Hermes, maybe thinking that there would be a bunch of pestilences. But we'll see. So we've got 3 Arrestos for DoD, 1 Arresto for F2, and then 1 Ceasefire. And of course, we've got the Valor. So we've got double dock for Heimdall. A little bit of lag going on here. Just a little. We've got double dock for Joe. 2 docks, everybody at 2. So where will we see the first? We have a bolt that got used on that boat to immediately destroy it and get a little bit of an advantage. Where do we see the doubles? So we've actually got F2 coming up on the left to double here. We've got DoD coming on the right to double. Ooh, missed with the shockwave. Only got 1 boat. That's not too great. And we have Brickhead pushed all the way back in, whereas Heimdall with the faster boats can kind of avoid the double, and now you have the reaction from DoD having to come up here. So F2 gets the immediate advantage, and I think you don't want to double the Atlantean early because of their extra mobility where they can just run away, as opposed to DoD. The Greek boats aren't quite as fast, so we can see Brickhead is kind of already in a really bad spot where he's already having to run his boats through the back and is losing them, and is quite a bit behind boat production as far as the number of boats because of that. F2 maybe shouldn't have chased with their entire navy, but now we can see that Heimdall is kind of pushing back already, and just in that very brief early double here, we can see that it did make a difference. We might start seeing our first restos coming in here. If you got 3, you kind of got to start using them, because once you get the boat disadvantage, resto doesn't help. And it's almost late already for resto to save the day up here, because they're so far behind in boats anyway. You could almost just push through the resto anyway and not even have to retreat. So holding on to the restos. There's one, the first resto, and now we have the counter resto by DoD, so this might even just force out an immediate next resto from DoD. F2 with the counter restoration. We can see it on the bottom. Yeah, so there's the counter resto. Might fall back, and then they can just turn and fight again because they have the boat. They have the boat advantage, so might as well just turn and fight. I don't know why they're retreating so far. They have the huge navy advantage here. We got a big fight down here. We got a resto. Retreat, 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 retreat. There you go. Player might want to start funneling some boats down here so that Heimdall doesn't get in a really bad spot. Meanwhile, on land, we're not seeing really much of anything. Heimdall should probably not fight this. I think he should retreat here and have player come funneling over some units, because this should be a winning fight for F2 here. We have all restos have been used. We have a ceasefire left. But a little bit of miscommunication here. We can see players fighting. Gold line is falling back. And yeah, Heimdall is going to get pushed back. I think a little bit of a missed opportunity here now from F2. And we can see player is grabbing a town center, as is gold line, which is maybe why they started playing defensive, because they're grabbing those early town centers right away, which is what they typically tend to do. But this isn't good, though, on the bottom, where Heimdall is now pretty far back, and now we saw player is sent in a few boats, but it's a little bit late. And Joe going back? You gotta keep the pressure up. I think he's coming over here to do a triple. Yeah, he is, but I don't know. I think you get more value out of sitting on the opponent, because really the triple, they can just retreat, and then it's really not a triple anymore. And we can see Heimdall is coming up as well. Yeah, I definitely think Joe should have just sat on the docks, because this maneuver here really gains him nothing. I mean, I guess it allows Brickhead to fish for a little bit longer, but I prefer I guess I always like, if you can be aggressive, be aggressive. But, well, we do have a big push here, so maybe it is going to work out. Got more boats here from DoD up on this little top half of the fight, but players' boats are down here. This should, I mean, player needs to kind of reposition a little bit, get up here, get his navy up a little bit, because Gold Lion kind of got caught out. Not really even caught out, but caught up against this corner here, while player had a huge army, was distracted down here. And really nice job by DoD to kind of split. And this battle went as good as them as it could have, even though they did have some military disadvantage as far as units coming in. Now we've got Gold Lion is just sitting on the water, on the fish here, while player is single-handedly kind of defending. Looks like he's retreating, or kind of. It's unusual, at least to me. But again, you have to understand when you're watching, you get to have, I mean, I have full view of where everything's going. So player coming down here will run into Joe's navy and has not noticed yet. Still has not noticed. Ooh, that was a little bit bad for a poor player. Obviously paying attention to something else. But should, in the end, maybe be a win. I mean, again, a little bit of miscommunication there where Heimdall goes running back when this was a winning fight. But let's take a look at the town center. So we have got 2-2-1 with more getting grabbed here. And then 2-2-1, 2-3-1 as we see DoD taking the score advantage here with some of those boat fights that they had the disadvantage as far as numbers, but kind of came out on top as far as actual kills. And oh, this is big here. This is big if Gold Lion can stop this. And we see he does have the early land present, so a little bit behind in score, but he has 3 town centers, and he is stopping Brickhead's town center here. That's huge. Because he's going to be able to grab it. 4 town centers, but no fishing right now. He's got a lot of fish just clogged up in his town center, or in his docks here. And he's chasing a little bit too far. Gotta retreat these boys. I mean, you're running under. Oh yeah, kill the pig. Nope. Oh, did pick off the Chiron. Coming back. This was huge. This was huge to get that. And now on the water, we just kind of see a bunch of little raiding going back and forth. We have a pause here by Gold Lion. Don't know if it's for the leg or not. Let me double check here. I'm not dropping frame. I dropped just a few frames earlier, but not dropping. It's not me. I haven't seen anybody as red at all. Sometimes Boobly connections isn't what it should be, where like someone will like kind of lose connection mid-game to one player and then it becomes fast proxy, which that could be what we're doing here. Got a relic, 2 arrows. Nice if you're Hades. Another relic in the back. Pair of Golden Lions. Blanket of Empress Zoe. That's actually decent to get more armor for your building, especially as a Atlantean. Now I don't think though Heimdall is going to get access to his 4 town center, so it's kind of going to be the tale of 2 cities here, where we have Heimdall with the disadvantage on the bottom and Gold Lion with the advantage on the top. However, you have Hades, who can defend for a long time, and if they really wanted to, could triple up the Sentinels here. You could have triple Sentinels. And you're going to see a Hades that could defend for a very long time. I got some a little bit of inefficiency here with these villagers. You can see a lot of them standing around, not wanting to work. They're on strike. But yeah, Heimdall is not going to get this town center, obviously, as we have Joe grabbing it. So player's going to have to come down here to help out. He has his villagers here, building a couple stables. What kind of ecos are we looking at here? Anybody aging up? Age 3 Apollo for player and Brickhead. We've got Gold Lion is close to aging up. He'll probably be aging up soon. Not Gold Lion, player is already. Gold Lion's not close, sorry. I was looking at the wrong stat line. Heimdall's got decent eco as well. So player is up already. Ooh. Early sneak build back here. This is bold. You sometimes see sneak builds, but not this early in the game. Definitely not. Little shockwave here, a bit of a fight. This is kind of just a fight to really fight. It really doesn't accomplish a whole lot. You know, it's just kind of units fighting. But it looks like it's going pretty well for DoD because the Terma are shooting at the hoplites and not the Toxotes. But it looks like with the Toxotes coming in from player, this will be defended eventually. Here come 3 Oracles marching in from nowhere, and they did notice. So F2 did notice. Do they know about this Vil? They do. Maybe should have snuck this villager back before starting the walls, so that you could start building in the back here. So I like the idea, but in the end doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. We got this transport ship sailing back. DoD has in a way won water, though it's kind of just F2 not really caring a little bit. And we've got the triremes to come in and stop those villagers from attacking. Look, you don't really need all those vills attacking. You can just sit tight. You know, just have one attack. You know, you don't need to go crazy on this wall like he's going. But what are we looking at here? Aging up. Look at all these techs getting researched. Bunch of age 3s, no age 4 yet. Kind of surprised that F2 just gave up on water the way that they did. Because especially if you're going to have 4 town centers, you need to have the eco to support it. And clearly Gold Lion does not, because he's not even aging up yet. So he's at 4 town centers. Is at Maxville now. Now he is almost aged up, but would like to have the, okay, a little bit of a back rate here that he uses Curse on. Now the villagers are going to turn and fight. This is a pretty nice raid. Should probably move a little bit. You don't want to fight now, though. Yeah, it just forces a lot of idols. So run on back, there you go. Just get them idle, them chasing you. I mean, this is almost as good as kind of killing them in a way for, you know, the time being. Now you turn and fight. There you go. Get on Achilles, get on the other random hoplite that showed up, and then you can come back here. But on the bottom, nothing going. Player's up with Hephaestus. He is the first player up. And he's got the triremes, recognizing that there are town centers in water range. Got a Petrobolus shooting at this one. And because Gold Lion's army is all forward, there's nothing to really fight this. But I think this is of more value anyway. You can out-repair a Petrobolus decently, especially if he starts getting his fortified town centers. Aging up Hephaestus. No fortified town center yet. Not even repairing. But really valuing getting in on these vills, which that is nice. Player will probably... Another back build attempt by Scotty. Just keeping player busy. I do like this, even if it doesn't accomplish anything. I mean, he's just kind of randomly roaming around with 3 vills, and that is forcing player to be distracted and come back to where he can't do what he wants up here. That Peltas being made. And here comes... you know, I keep shooting at them. They do some damage, so they are upgraded. Oh, here comes the hammer ship. So the nice thing about Medit when you have town centers in range is you do get the water fights late game, which is pretty cool. We got double sentinel down on the bottom. The town center is down. A nice counter push here. This town center is going down, though. We aren't seeing any repairs at all. Gold Lion is just kind of content to let it lose and then fall back, I think. Not the end of the world. Does Scotty have any vills that snuck through? No, he does not. Got one last one here, and she gets picked off. But can they push through this? Got a lot of hammer ships coming out. From... Who is making? So Scotty is making the hammer ships as well. So Scotty is the one who's going Navy. Got all these sentinels just tanking damage. Do have the age up for Arano. See, I think the play here for F2 is maybe to Underworld and... Oh, there comes the ceasefire. So this is the only ceasefire of the game. That is so Gold Lion can rebuild his town center. But if Brickhead just walls like he's doing, these Petrobullets can just hide behind the wall and then kill the town center right after. We'd like to see him stop building on the tower because he can't build on it anyway. And let's repair, don't build the tower, let's get on the walls here. And so the ceasefire really might not be of much value, because essentially 30 seconds after the cease is done, maybe a minute, Gold Lion might be in the position that he was before, not quite getting this wall done in time. We have the pause again. Is there still some lag? I don't know. Just double check. I don't think I'm dropping frames. No, I'm not dropping frames. So if there is lag, it's not me. I can't tell when I'm not playing if there's lag. There's no freeze lag. Anyway, hopefully there's not. But I think the play for F2 is they're going to have to come up here. Maybe. I mean, it's so hard to push. This is the value, though, of late game Hades, is all of the extra hit points that their buildings get. It's so hard to push through. I mean, the town centers just get gigantic, fully upgraded with the plus 700 from the bonus. And they do have the Colossus to push through, but, I mean, Gold Lion is at an army disadvantage. He's going to need help here, whether it be a vortex or an underworld, as we can see. And yeah, they're just fighting here, and we get the random man of war down here. Look at all these hammer ships. What a battle here. Just hammer ships hammering away. But I don't think that Gold Lion will be able to hold this position, because he's got to get through the wall. Really nicely done with the wall here, and that town center will go down unless we're getting a fortified town center somewhere. We're getting Artemis is coming in for Brickhead as well, and this town center will go down, not even bothering to repair again. And that's what I'm talking about. We're now at the position where we were before the ceasefire. We're right back at same thing. Town center down. Do we have much going on for? Oh, the Scotty just won't stop. Man, how annoying. Keeps coming through. Joe with a super awesome score. He's at four town centers as Hades. I don't know if they can defend this, being F2. This is a really strong push here for DoD. I think the only chance F2 has is to switch the attack and like to come forward. But the problem is the Hades players have their own underworld to respond. And F2 is not quite where they need to be. I don't know if they picked Conquest or not. We could maybe see some Wonder shenanigans potentially. We see players sending out a war boats here somewhere. But Gold Lion a little bit far behind. And I think he's maybe not even be able to hold this back position here. And once Brickhead gets this town center up, I think Gold Lion will be in a pretty rough spot, as we have the earthquake on the back end, and without your fortified town centers, this all goes down. And I don't, Brickhead might be able to just kind of instantly switch this entirely, because Gold Lion now has no military buildings, none. Just, I mean, well, none. I mean, he's got stables, but the stables aren't going to really do a whole lot, I don't think. And Brickhead needs to come forward. He's got the Petrobullets. He could stop this town center, and that could be really big, as we see a back underworld here on the back. Gold Lion things might be falling apart very quickly for F2. We got this back town center getting destroyed. We got player unable to really respond. He's got an army here, but or these buildings, but so far no army. Where is player's army? He's at full pop. I think he's maybe got too much on the water, where he can't defend this. Because he had, I mean, you're not seeing a land army from player at all, and Gold Lion is fading fast. Player is got Secrets of the Titans, but this is a nice late game push. Here's some of players pop here, getting that town center down. But this is disastrous if this town center goes up. I mean, no army from player. He's just got too much on the water. And if this town center goes up, I don't know how they get it back down. I really don't. I think it stays up. As we see Gold Lion just in full retreat down here. I think Gold Lion is probably also popped as well. 138, 140. Yeah, Gold Lion's popped too. And he might find himself 42 town centers down pretty quickly. And I think this could be F2's first loss this season on their home map, because it's just utter destruction here in the back. And that is it. GG, well played. I wasn't so sure about the triple Hades, but it worked. GG, a 2-0 for DoD coming on strong, and they have their home map. Will we see shenanigans on their home map or not? Well, not the start to the series that F2 wanted. Not at all. Let's take a look at our postgame, but 23 minutes, that's a quick loss for F2 on their home map. I don't know if I've seen them lose that quickly on their home map. I think the loss kind of comes down to, it seemed to me there was a lot of team miscommunication early on in the water fights, and even though they had the water advantage as far as boat numbers, I feel like they kept losing fights, and then never won water, and then kind of fell behind economically. Like we can see here, they have the water advantage as far as military, but like here, a huge advantage as far as boats. But look at how many they lost in comparison to DoD, and that was, I think, that one fight where you had kind of Gold Lion pressed up against his docks up here, while player had a huge navy, but we're kind of just firing, like over-firing on like 3 or 4 boats, while Gold Lion just got absolutely pummeled and had to come up here. So I think some of that was a bit of the problem, where they could have, you know, maybe out-boomed, but because they lost on water, their boom wasn't where it could have been, even though they did grab earlier town centers, I believe. Yeah, they were a little bit earlier in town centers, but really didn't out-boom at all. And with the Atlantean, you have to be ahead going into the late game here, because your Atlantean, obviously your power spike starts to fade towards the end of the games. So F2, historically F2 super strong on water, and end up losing the 2 water maps to start off the series. We do have another preset map that is a land map with a little water. That would be the what's the name? I forget what the name of it is. I can see the map in my mind. Tundra Pools. That's what it is. Yeah, I mean, Gold Lion had a decent eco, but we go and look in the kill death, a little bit behind kill death. Scotty a little bit behind. That's okay. Heimdall way behind. I mean, at landing you're going to be a little behind, but this is maybe a little too extreme. Just a little slow to grab the town center here, which once you fall behind as the Aranos on the land, which kind of, you know, you're kind of picking Aranos so that you can have the advantage both on water and land. So to fall behind land is a bit out of character for F2. They got the advantage up here, but Gold Lion just, I guess, a little overextension, I suppose you could say, because he just couldn't hold it. And then you got the earthquake that just kind of finalized this position here. And then Scotty was kind of just the boatman here. He was just defending the water. Was kind of his position in the game. Was the main thing that he did. And then Fox was the one who really played well. Or not Fox. Fox isn't even in the game. It was Joe who really played well in this game here. And what are we looking at in the game room? We are looking for one more F2. We have Gold Lion is rebooting his computer. So we have time still to do our 10-minute post-game analysis here. But Yeah, I think that's what it was just the early losses on the water into early town centers that they couldn't quite support, because then they lost their fish economy. And then kind of even going into the late game, but again, you're even in the late game with an Uranos or Atlantean, shall we say, and then you're essentially behind. So I know DoD would love to start using like Shelby with the Loki power, but obviously you can't really use it here. Or not DoD. F2 would love to use Shelby with their Loki power, but obviously can't go wrong with Meta. I mean, F2 has very few losses on Mediterranean, very few. So you know, it's almost been an automatic win for years for them. So well done by DoD. The triple Hades did end up working. I mean, I don't know, you could probably go with Zeus and kind of accomplish almost the same thing, but I did notice that they went really heavy, all of them, on Toxotes, and so then you do get that Hades advantage, the extra 0.7 Pierce. I believe that's 10, an extra 10% on the damage here, and then you got the super strong buildings along with the Sentinels, so you got 2, 4, 6, 8 Sentinels, which, I mean, they're kind of like half a tower, I suppose. There. F2 needs Zodiac. Still waiting for Gold Lion to reboot. And take a quick look at our economy. Decent eco upgrades for DoD so far. Yeah. Oh, I think I already checked that. Really nice from the brick. Well played. I mean, DoD isn't necessarily Zeus or Greek mains, really at all. So they played really well in this game. Can't take anything away from them. They had a good game, and maybe F2 not quite played as good as they could have, but in a way, you know, it's the pressure that makes you make mistakes. If the other team is playing well, that starts forcing out mistakes. But